Easy, baby girl. Slow down. So Brie and I just got back. I just took her temperature. She's at 103.8. The coughing has gotten worse. She has nasal discharge. So hoping that it's not strangles. There's so much I want to say, but I just don't want to disclose this on camera.
Oh! Oh, goodness.
I think she gave the Banamine and she's now down to 101.3. So that's a big decrease from 103.8 to 101.3. That's a significant decrease. Naren's coming out. She's like an hour away. If her temperature goes up above 101.5 at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m., then give her
7 mLs.
7 mLs.
Banamine. And then as soon as I have lab results, I'll call you too.
Perfect. Good.
Hey.
Good morning. Good morning, baby. How are you? Good morning. Do you eat much hay? Good morning, baby. Good morning. You're so beautiful, baby girl. Taking care of you. You're on antibiotics. You got more energy today. It's Drakiana's first day at the farm from last night, and I think I'm just so sleep deprived that I made a very unfortunate mistake. I'm sure you can see the gate here that's open, and unfortunately it stayed open, and it was just a critical mistake that's to come. You're so cute. You didn't eat your grain. Good morning, peacocks. Morning, babies. How did you guys sleep, huh? It was at this moment that I realized that my quarantine protocol had been breached. Drakiana and Reese had made contact through the fence and unknowingly grazing together. Get out of my gym. And now that we have a breach, I have to improvise a lot. So I'm going to move my little dragon and Reese, since they both need quarantine, into the emu paddock, which is also called Paddock 4. You're going to get nice and clean for Reese and the new Pokey. My big horses do go in this paddock during the summer when it's just scorching hot outside, and just as a method to get out of the UVA, UVB rays. So this is a safe paddock, but it is quite big, and my little dragon's gonna have to get used to this space. I believe that you already know about my existing paddocks, but for reference purposes, this is my nature paddock, also known as Paddock 5. Here is my large paddock, which is paddock number 3. Then we have paddock number 2 at the front, and then going towards paddock number 1 right there. And then behind this, we have the emu paddock, which is also paddock number 4. And this is where Drakiana and Reese will get moved with the emus for quarantine. Come on. This is not going to plan today. Hey, my baby dragon. Reese Peasy, who's now also in quarantine, was nose to nose with our new little filly. And as you know from yesterday, our filly is sick. So our quarantine protocol has been breached and we have to improvise. I know, Patriot. I'm gonna hang out with you. Javelin and her babies. So our quarantine protocol has been breached and was nose to nose with our new little prospect horse. But now Reese is also under quarantine. So now Patriot's all by herself. I'm not ready to integrate her to the big herd just yet. It's just too risky. So she needs a new buddy. I'm either gonna give her Prince. Prince, will you be nice to Patriot? They've never been in the same paddock before, so that's a risk, but he's so good. Maverick. Maverick can't be separated from Janana and Javelin. She'd break a fence. Sarge has been, hear the baby, Sarge has met Patriot. They've been in the paddock before and he loves her. So maybe Sarge and Patriot would be a good new buddies. Do you want Sarge, Patriot? Do you want Maverick? Or do you want Prince? Who do you want, Patriot, to be your buddy? Okay, it's definitely not Maverick. Sarge, will you be nice to Patriot? I think you would be the best. It's either you or Prince. We have to decide. It's definitely not going to be Javelin. I don't think Janana's the best fit. Because Janana is Javelin's right-hand girl. I don't want to separate them, ever. So, it's either going to be Sarge or Prince. It's going to be in the paddock with Patriot, because I'm not going to leave Patriot alone. And to help determine who would be the best paddock buddy for Patriot, I'm going to bring Sarge into the horse stall and kind of see how Patriot does in between both Sarge and Prince, and who's the most compatible. Look at Prince's dapples. Are they not the cutest? I love his dapples. Now it's time to try to sneak Patriot in the middle of the horse stall. I'm hoping that the girls Javelin, Maverick, and Janana don't see us, because I just want Patriot to be in the middle of the boys and see what happens here. Patriot, Prince, and Sarge, they're going to be here for a few hours just to get more acquainted, and then after we're going to let them out into the horse paddock for the first time. Just two of them, obviously, whoever is the best pairing. But first we're going to go check our little dragon's temperature just to make sure that it hasn't risen above the specified threshold that the vet said. Done, right? And essentially the vet said to check Drakiana's temperature twice per day, AM and PM, and just to make sure that her temperature is not equal to or greater than 101.5. If her temperature is above this 101.5 threshold, then to administer the betamine. Mimiko, Aki. For a foal that only has, for a yearling that only has 6 weeks of handling, I would say Drakiana is doing really good. I think she's curious, and I think that she's confident. She does raise her head when I pick up the halter, but that's okay. I just think that she has a really good nature to her. I'm super excited about this little filly. So when taking her temperature, essentially you want to make sure that everything is sterile and the thermometer is lubricated, and you're supposed to stand on one side of the horse, close to the horse's hip, and lift the horse's tail over to one side, and then you insert the thermometer into the horse's rectum, and then you hold the thermometer in place until the reading is complete. And once the reading is complete, you remove the thermometer, and you essentially just read the temperature. For an adult horse, you want to be between 98 and 101, and for a foal, you're okay with 100 to 102.5. 100.3. You can see that? And now, Reese and quarantine. Little Reese, our little new filly today. They bonded, so he's going to be in quarantine with her also. There's no way that she's going to be able to be in a stall during this quarantine process. I'm just going to put her in the paddock with the emus because I think she needs more space. Just like her mom, she runs hot, so. It's so strange. So the majority of my horses, besides Janana and I believe Patriot, get like high anxiety around this section of paddock 1. It's not a learned behavior, because obviously this is Drakiana's first time going in this section and she's behaving this way. But you can see how she's reacting, and I'm just not sure why, but it's just a consistent pattern I've noticed with all of my horses going into this section. I guess there's something here that triggers them. Maybe it's because the property borders close to because the paddock borders close to the woods here. I'm not sure. What are your thoughts? And just for the record, I'm not trying to lunge Drakiana here. I'm just walking her through the gate into paddock 4. But that's the reaction the horses get here. As you may have saw on my prior or videos on this channel, like I expose my horses to pretty much everything. They live in a mixed herd. I have multiple paddocks with all different types of terrains. We have peacocks, chickens, of course, emus, and I believe that having like a diverse environment, it does keep it interesting for the horses, and I think it keeps their mind stimulated. But I would never just turn out one of my new horses into, or one of my existing horses into a new paddock without first letting them check out the environment with me just walking them around, so just as a safety precaution, because you know, like as you can see, this is probably Drakiana's first time ever out in a paddock like this that's not just a grassy field. There's trees here. Of course, there's emus, and this will be second nature to her soon enough, but for me, I want to expose her to this environment with me hand walking her first. I'm not sure if by Reese and Drakiana seeing the larger herd in Paddock 2 triggered the fight, but Drakiana definitely had the upper hand there. I think I do have another version of the clip from another camera, so I'm going to replay that. But usually Reese bosses Patriot around, and it does worry me that he likely has always been like the dominant pony here and in his prior home. So I think it's good for him to learn a lesson to shy away from larger horses when they stick their butt to him or he goes so close to their hindquarters. Because that's what worries me about integrating Reese with the larger herd, is he's very alpha. So if he was to stick his butt to Javelin like that, you know, she's over 1,600 pounds, 16.2 hands, he could get seriously hurt. So I do think that was a good lesson for Reese to learn. But this is the other camera angle I have. Tell me what animal behavior you think happened here.
Hey! Ooh.
Also, I've seen this with Reese before with Patriot. He is very selective when he chooses to fight, and I think he has the ability to delay like his next step. He's very smart, and I'm not sure who is the alpha horse right now. I think it may be too early to determine. I just think he's waiting for the right opportunity. I believe that Reese and Janana are by far my smartest horses, and you're gonna see why eventually. I can tell that Drakiana is not used to walking around with branches just touching her body, her head, her shoulders, her feet. She's just not used to it. She gets skittish, which is understandable. But again, this will be second nature to Drakiana in no time. And it is safe for her to be in this type of paddock farce, a nature paddock, whatever you want to label this. I have had the vet look into this paddock with me and just verify that it's safe for them to be in this paddock and forage. I am a warrior, believe it or not, although I do give my horses a lot of opportunity to have this type of environment, but I made sure there wasn't a certain type of trees that were poisonous or just dangerous for them to forage. So rest assured that this is safe for them. Here's my peacock garden, and I just want to introduce Drakiana in a controlled manner as much as possible to the peacocks because they roam everywhere before I just let Drakiana run freely. Believe it or not, horses can get quite spooked by birds. As you know, they're prey animals, so the fluttering and the flapping of birds is something that Drakiana is just going to have to get accustomed to in order to prevent the spooking. And you'll see coming up soon what I mean when I let her off the halter. My biggest concern is not so much the birds, to be honest. It's more giving Drakiana the time that she needs to get accustomed to the footing in this paddock. And although I try not to bubble wrap my horses, especially when it comes to turnout, as you guys would know, it's not uncommon for horses to fracture their hoofs from falling in a different type of terrain, or even having like a soft tissue or damaging their tendons. And this video is drastically fast forwarded, but we have walked around the perimeter numerous times. I've walked her in between the trees and the various obstacles that she's going to be roaming in numerous times. You just never know how a horse is going to react for the first time in a new paddock. And I can tell that Drakiana is a little bit sensitive towards the various branches that are touching her body. So this is actually kind of desensitizing her, which will make her a much better horse in the long run. But it's just something that she has to get used to, because I just don't want to stall rest her, and this is my safest paddock right now to prevent my resident herd from getting into contact with Drakiana, just like Reese did, unfortunately. But under no circumstances is there ever an excuse to break a quarantine protocol. I made a terrible mistake by not closing that gate, which has now resulted in Reese getting exposed to Drakiana, and I take full responsibility. This is a learning opportunity for me as a new farm owner, and I just pray that Reese doesn't pick up whatever Drakiana has contracted. Alrighty, Drakiana is actually doing quite well, and I think it's time for the big moment to let her off the lead rope and just see how she does with her new quarantine buddies. So let's see how she does.
Good girl. Come here, baby. Good girl.
I need to remove the auction sticker off her. My emus are familiar with horses, as you can see in all my other videos, but apparently they're not used to stickers, and I think they're trying to get Drakiana's auction sticker off her. It's hard to see in this video because there's quite a lot of commotion and chaos, but the emus are having a lot of fun with Drakiana, and she is equally chasing them. She is having a blast. She is a powerhouse. And I never stall my horses up, so I'm not used to seeing like these energy outbursts like Drakiana is showing, but she has a lot of energy and she's ready to burn this off.
Easy, baby girl. Slow down. She is a boss horse, and a dragon name is definitely befitting for her.
Thankfully, I walked her around to try to reduce the energy, but I think I could have walked her all day and she would have had this built up energy. She's young, and apparently she's getting healthy, and the Exceed, the antibiotics that she's on, is working. She is feeling good, and I'm glad that she's not down in the dumps.
Get some water. Good girl. Good girl, my dragon. Definitely a dragon. Can't keep burning. Come here, baby. Come on.
Since Reese's and Drakiana are going to be in quarantine for an extended period of time, likely 2 weeks after the last shown symptom, I believe that's the right amount. What do you guys think should be the quarantine period now that she's definitely sick? I'm going to add a slow feeder in here or show you a smaller slow feeder that I have, and that should keep them in good shape. This is the hay truck that's arriving. I'm just hoping that Patriots and Sarge or Prince's integration is not as eventful as this. Let's go check out Patriot. As many of you already know, Patriot is my first foal. I delivered her, and I'm extremely protective over her. Like, we are just so connected. And my one goal for Patriot is that she never has a bad day in her entire life. I want her to live a life in absolute heaven with like no insecurities. I'm partially overprotective of her because we did have a few complications stabilizing her blood at birth, which I will talk about later, but I think it has made me like extremely protective. So turning Patriot out today with Sarge is a really big day for us. And I just want it to go so well. And I believe that she has the skills to make like the right decisions. Her mom Javelin raised her flawlessly, and Reese's has been the perfect babysitter and taught her how to be quite mannered, I would say. But to be safe, I'm going to give Patriot and Sarge the larger paddock so she can have her own space, like many of you suggested in the prior video. And part of the reason why I did buy Drakiana at the auction, you know, a 1-year-old, was so Patriot could have a filly that's the same age as her. So she would have the same bond that Javelin has with Janana, and now Maverick as their third. So I want that for Patriot. I just hope that turning Patriot out with Sarge today goes well and she doesn't get hurt.
Patriot, baby. You're very independent. Patriot's very independent. So she's out with Sarge. There's not much going on. And this is great. Right, Patriot? We have our drone here. This is a big day today. That went so well. So Patriot and Sarge are a great match. Sarge kind of has like older energy, like an old man energy, although he's 5. And Patriot, although she's 1, she really has kind of older energy type 2. Like she's more serious than she is like playful. So I think those are a good match for each other. But I'm like, super excited. They're going to be in the big paddock tonight. Latina, hello dragon. Can't touch you. I'm in quarantine. It's Reese and Drakiana, and it was Patriot and Sarge. This is our buddy system. This is our protocol. The stall that the horses were in. Reese and Drakiana today. Reese and my little filly today. We're bleaching everything. The walls, the handles, every section in the stalls where they were. Because now they're in different paddock. So it's getting bleached out. You had a busy day today, Drakiana. Yeah, it's definitely been a stressful day out here. Come on, Drakiana. You hear her calling the other horses. Come on, baby. Did Drakiana show you who was boss today? But you didn't need it. So it's getting late. I still have to check our new little fillies temperature before bed. I'm just seeing the big horses hate Javelin. But most importantly, I want to make sure that Patriot is with Sarge. And they're doing okay. The Patriot is with Sarge and they're okay. I see Patriot. The last time I checked, they were together. The issue is that Patriot is so independent. And so is Sarge, so independent. So I suspect, yeah, that they're going to be together, or they're not going to be like on top of each other, you know, sharing the grass. So yeah, there's Patriot. She's way back there. They're just way back over there, but they can see each other. Patriot, you okay? After seeing Drakiana, you know, we haven't officially named her yet, but after seeing Drakiana's dominant side with Reese, which I did like. Oh wow, Sarge is hanging out with all the deers. Sarge is hanging out with all the deers. And the babies. See the deers? And there's Patriot. Everyone just loves Sarge. They got their own herd over here. Sarge and Patriot are doing so good. You know you're my favorite. You know you're my baby girl. I hope you're enjoying Sarge. No kick marks, right? No kick marks. No bites. No scratches.
One thing that I forgot to mention at the opening of the video too was during the evening when Bree and I discovered Drakiana's 103.8 temperature, I called the new owner of Drakiana's mom. Remember that beautiful mare, Julie, that we looked at? I figured she would have similar symptoms to Drakiana since they came from the same farm, they rode in the same horse trailer, and they even left in the same horse trailer from the auction to a barn towards Ohio. And the new owner was thankful that I contacted him even though it was so late. I was surprised he answered the phone, but fortunately, Julie was not showing any of the same symptoms.
Oh, there's a big one over there. Sarge is the best babysitter for Patriot. So it's going to be Sarge and Patriot in the same paddock. This is working. We're going to have Reese Pieces and Drakiana in the same paddock. And the emus. And then we're going to have the girls and Prince in the same paddock. I'm going to take Drakiana's temperature before bed. Hopefully it's below 101.5, so she doesn't need any more Banamine, and that's that. Patriot, I know you love Sarge. You guys have the same energy, just so quiet. So stay tuned. About to check her temperature. The damn fox is literally right there. See him? Good night, Javelin. I love you. Good night, Maverick. I know it's been a big day today. Night, Janana. I love you, baby. Good night, Princey boy. You hang out with the girls tonight. They better be good to you. Good night, Reese's. Good night, Reese boy. Good night, babies. Be nice. I just took her temperature before bed and she's at 101.5, so I'm gonna give her more Banamine. But it'll be safe and sorry. And she should be comfortable. Take good care of her, baby. I love you.
At this time, Drakiana has yet to eat grain, so I suspect that her throat is a little irritated. And fortunately, I've only taken 2 readings where her temperature was above 101.5, so I've only had to administer Banamine twice. And with the exception of those 2 times, Drakiana's temperature has ranged between 99.6 and 100.6, so her temperature has definitely stabilized. Her coughing has also drastically reduced, and I'm no longer seeing that sign of the nasal discharge. The vet is coming out tomorrow to administer the second round of Exceed, and also to take more of her blood samples. We are still waiting on the results to come in from that first blood work that we drew, but we're just hoping that it's not strangles. But clearly, she has a bacterial or a viral respiratory pathogen of some kind. Please keep Reese, in your prayers. He turned 4 this year, and Patriot really does miss him being in quarantine. And I'm hoping that his vaccinations will protect him to whatever he's been exposed to. Tomorrow the vet's coming out, and then I believe 3 days after tomorrow. So stay tuned, and hopefully we will have an exact diagnosis tomorrow.